Hi everybody, this is Jo from Carry Out Crystal Healing and from the Energetic Shift channel on Facebook. Oh dear, my throat's gone already. I've been guided to share a couple of short videos about things that I've been mentioning in the updates. So things that I've been guided to clarify for people, because I am aware that there are people who probably don't know about this stuff. So I've been guided to share about that. So this first one is going to be about intuition. In a lot of my readings and videos, I ask people to focus on their intuition, what their heart and soul is telling them. And perhaps not everybody knows how to do that, or perhaps people think that they're doing that, but things change so much so quickly that it can become hard to tune back into it. And so what I've been guided to share is to help you to either to start to get to know your intuition better, or to what's the right word? To kind of become acquainted with it for the first time. I hope that makes sense. The energy is quite crazy again today. We've got this new moon that's coming up on Friday, so the energy is quite strong for that. In terms of change, and we need to access our intuition in order to know what we need to do to change, what actions we need to take. So intuition is a lot quieter than what our logical mind can be like. Our logical mind can be quite loud, quite chaotic. It can be like a teenager in a lot of ways. It can bulldoze us, and so it can be very hard to ignore it. And our logical mind is reinforced constantly by what we see in our outer world. So the news, other people, situations that go on, things to do with money, usually are very, very heavily dominated by logic. And logic doesn't allow for miracles to take place. It doesn't allow for the magic to happen in terms of what the universe and what our soul is able to create. So we are blocking the magic from happening by focusing on that logic. And that's why I tell people all the time to focus on their intuition. And I do know how hard it is because obviously I've been there, and actually it gets easier, but the challenges get bigger when it comes to tuning into your intuition. And so if you're just starting out, sorry, my throat is really going crazy. It's been fine up until now. Perhaps it wants me to mention that actually our intuition is the truth of who we are. And when we're not connecting with that, we can get those throat issues. So some people might be starting out with their intuition and they don't really know where to start, but others of you may well have been working with your intuition for quite some time, but actually the stakes are getting bigger now and the challenges are getting bigger. We're having to make bigger and bigger changes, and we're having to do that in accordance with what our intuition is telling us, and that can be really hard, because it's all right making small decisions based on intuition. It's like a fun game, but later, as you go along this journey, you have to make quite big life decisions based on intuition, and it can look crazy to those outside in kind of the real world. So when you're presented with those big challenges, or if you're just starting out, it can be really good to remind yourself of what intuition is and how to work with it. So what I did while I was starting out was to use my intuition to make really small decisions about things. Now for you, intuition might be working with the angels too, and that's another way that I started out. The angels are like an intermediary between us and our intuition. So when we're not good at kind of trusting ourselves, we ask the angels, and it's like confirmation outside of ourselves in a way. So they're like an intermediary. So this might work for some of you as well, working with the angels. But when you're trusting your intuition, like, you need to focus on what feels right for you. So it's not what your logical brain is telling you. your intuition never analyzes anything. It just tells you this, and that's it. Our logical brain goes, oh, but if I do that, then I might be late, or if I do this, then I might not have enough money, or if I do this, what happens if it's the wrong course, blah, blah, blah. Your logical mind can talk you out of it, whereas your intuition just knows. So focus on using your intuition to make small decisions. Now, when I was starting out, I would use it every single morning to choose which clothes I wanted to wear. What colour clothes do I want to wear? Which pair of socks? Which pair of pants? Which ones are the right ones for me today? And you can focus on what feels light, what makes you feel happy, what makes you feel comfortable. Even if your logical mind doesn't agree. So you can focus on it in that way. You can use it in terms of what foods should I eat? Should I have tea? Should I have coffee? And use it for really small decisions and really focus in on how those decisions make you feel. That's how you really get to know your intuition, by focusing on how it makes you feel. So, it doesn't matter if you follow your intuition necessarily for small decisions like that or not, but it's really important that you get to know how it feels. And then start to trust it, and then start to follow it, and that's when you can then build up and up and up into the bigger decisions. And many of you are being asked to make really big life decisions now based on your intuition. And if you're struggling, go back to basics, go back to this technique of choosing really small things to tune into how it makes you feel. Because if it feels light, if it makes you feel joyful, if it makes you feel happy, if it feels simple, then that's your right answer. That is your intuition talking to you. The mind and ego will complicate things, and it will spin things out of control. It'll blow things out of proportion. And so if it's doing that, then that's not the right answer. Or you're not tuning into the right place to find your answer. Because if you're going off in that tangent, that's your mind and your ego, and that's not the truth. Your intuition is your soul, and that is always the truth, because that is what connects you with the universe. You can use it to, like, I've got different decks of cards here. They've just given me this off the hoof. So if you've got decks of cards like this, use your intuition and really focus in. Which one do I want to use today? And focus what your intuition is telling you. And choose that deck of cards and work with it. And go with what feels right. Use it for small decisions first of all, and then you can build it up for the bigger ones. Once you've kind of re-established that connection, and once you really, really get to grips with how it feels, like we can scratch the surface of our intuition, and it's like, oh yeah, that feels good. Okay, I'll do that. But it's time to start really deepening that. So it's really important that you get to know the real nitty-gritty of how it makes you feel. I'm trying to think of some examples to go with that. I suppose that what tends to happen as we make bigger decisions following our intuition, the fears come up. The fear is to try and keep us safe. It's like old programming designed to keep us safe and to stop us from playing big so that we don't get disappointed, rejected, whatever. So we can get our intuition and fear mixed up, muddled up quite a lot. And again, that's where you need to go right back to basics and tune in. Okay, how does this feel? What does my intuition really feel like? So that you then can get to know how it works for you, because it's very personal. Nobody works the same way with their intuition. There are similar ways, but you have to figure out how it works for you, because this journey is all about you. So I hope that gives you some pointers. If you are interested in getting to know your intuition more, I'm going to put a link down in the comment box below. I run courses based upon this, workshops and courses, and so excuse me, my throat is still going. So you can learn to develop that more, and that's something that I can help you with on those courses. So if you're interested, have a look at the comment box below, and if you have any comments or questions, please leave those below in the video as well, because I always try to have a look and answer people. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that has been helpful, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.